You know, we are problem solvers, and we find a way to overcome the challenges that come our way, because that those are the things that are stopping us from living our purpose. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of the challenges that we face, we're not the only ones that face them, and most of the time they're just temporary. We just gotta be creative enough to figure out what we need to do. Now, if we looked out a year from today, where do you see the business? Where you want it to be, and how much monthly revenue did you say you wanted to make per month? Just ballpark.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Yeah, sure. So if we fast forward a year from today, where would you love to see the business in a year, and how much monthly revenue would you like to make? Just ballpark.
I need to be bringing in at least 5,000 a month. Would love to be bringing in at least 10,000 a month.
There we go. Boom. Right. So it's always good to overshoot it, right? Because even if you fall short of it, you still surpass the minimum. You know, so if anything happened, you know you can always fall back on the revenue that you're making from your business. So the challenge is is it not knowing what to do, or knowing what to do but not having the time, or not knowing what to do and not feeling like you have the time?
It would be both of them. Excuse me. Excuse me. It would be both.
It will be both. Okay. So all right. So let's tackle with well, it's always the first thing first is always to knowing what to do, because even if you had the time, if you don't know what to do, having the time doesn't
Right.
matter, right? So let's start off with not knowing what to do. So what do you feel like is the challenge from knowing, like, what's the first step that you need to take?
You said what's the challenge to the first step that I need to
Yeah. So
take?
what's the challenge with? So you said not knowing what to do. What do you feel like is the biggest challenge with not knowing what to do? They said business is an intellectual sport, and I had to really think about it. I said business is an intellectual sport, and I said, well, if it's an intellectual sport, that means that you really have to, one, if it's a sport, a lot of times you have to condition your body in order to play that sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, well, and then if it's intellectual, that means that a lot of it is really about what goes on in your mind and the decisions that you make, and how you feel, right? Because if it's about your mind, depending on the way you think about something, will depend on if you feel like doing it or not, if you feel like you can do it or not, if you come up with solutions or not, if you it depends on it creates how determined you are to get something done or not. It's just so crazy how our minds really take us in different directions in life, right? You can have your mind can take you to exactly where you want to be if you stay on
Mm-hmm.
that path and you make the decisions to allow you to do that. Or there's a lot of people who make terrible decisions in life, and that lands them dead, that lands them in jail, that lands them in positions where they don't want to be in life. And it starts with your mind. Your mind is a supercomputer that makes the decisions in your life, right? That allows you to make those decisions. So when they said it was an intellectual sport, I said that's so interesting. And 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 I'm still mastering this myself, but the more energy that I have, the more that I'm willing to do the things that I need to do to go to the next level. I notice, like, if I'm tired, I might not even get out of bed. But me sleeping for that extra hour could have been the time I was working on my business, right? If I don't feel like doing something because I'm tired, fatigued, or just like I just need a break, then that's stealing away from my purpose, right? And so what I try to do is I try to make sure I have as much energy as possible so I can be able to fulfill my purpose. Because although it's a legitimate excuse, at the end of the day, you can still look up at the end of your life and not really feel like you fulfilled your purpose, right? And at that time, you're gonna be like, damn, you gonna say you was tired for the next 40 years? You know what I mean? And you'll feel empty. You know what I mean? So the thing is what needs to be done in order for you to feel like you have the energy where you can put aside an extra 30 minutes to an hour a day so you can be able to achieve your purpose if it's important to you. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's a hell of a story.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, imagine you got a hell of a story. Your story is so crazy, is that I was so committed to helping these, is it women with trauma or anybody?
Anybody.
So, I'm so committed to helping people with trauma that I literally had to hike back and forth to try to figure out how to get to work. I'm coming home exhausted, just trying to run around and figure out what I needed to do to get to work, get back, make phone calls, do this, do that, come home, take care of the house, run these errands, do everything that I need to do, plus still find time for my purpose so I can eventually generate enough revenue to be able to do this full time. That's a hell of an inspiring story. Most people shy away from the very story that's going to inspire their clients to want to work with them. You feel what I'm saying? Like that story, like if you overcome this is going to be the very story that's going to inspire somebody to say, damn, if Shantae could do it with everything she had going on, what excuse do I have? But if everything was exactly the way you wanted it to be, you wouldn't have any challenges. And if you didn't have any challenges, nobody wouldn't want to work with you, because nobody doesn't want to work with the person that didn't have any challenges. Because guess what? The reality is everybody has challenges. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things that I always encourage the members to do is, like, when you going through tough times, that's the best time. That's the best time to get the confidence, and that's the best time to overcome that situation, because that's going to inspire people. I can tell you dozens of stories right now of different challenges where I could have given up, quit. I could have stopped paying because it was making me short in other areas. It could have been so many. I could give you so many scenarios, right? And even other clients, because we got a lot who they were going through their own situations too. I got a lady. We got a lady in the program who 5 kids. All of them have like mental health issues. Imagine going through 5. Like, one would be a lot. I know I have one child who doesn't have mental health issues, and my wife, and it's not like I'm a single father, and that's just, I'm like, yo, that is a lot. If I have to watch him and still like try to build this business, I'm like, yo, this is a lot by itself. So she got 5 of them, all mental health issues. So she's going to the doctor 5 times as much as the average person. And then also her mom is having challenges, and she's a single mom. It's just like, but she still finds time to be able to do it. She gets creative, right? She does, like, I remember she was in the hospital one time, with her kids, and boom, and she was like, she sent me a text, said, Coach, I can't talk right now, but you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and listen in while I'm waiting in the waiting room right here. Simple things like that. Find time. She because her schedule is unpredictable. She said, okay, well, I can't necessarily do group sessions at the same time because I don't know what's going to happen every week. But you know what? I can probably take a handful of clients, and then we could, I can set the expectation to let them know that, hey, this is my situation, and this is the time that we can meet, and if anything changes, I'll let you know ahead of time. Boom. And she was getting clients, and sometimes she had to take an emergency trip to the hospital. Hey, would you mind if we reschedule? Right? She would find the times in her day where she could say, okay, I got an hour right here. Let me use this hour, and let me work on my business. Okay, what should I be working on right now? Okay, do that. Right? And it's not a comparison game because you're looking at the person next to you saying they making fast progress. It's all about forward momentum. You know what I mean? And that's the key thing. I just did a post actually, was it today? It was today. I just did a post that said, a valid excuse won't make your purpose come true. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying your situation is an excuse, but I'm just trying to give you a different way to think, because it'll be the same cycle. We can have this conversation again in 3 months or 3 years, and it'll be the same because you're not making any different decisions. You know what I mean? So like that's so so anyway, so that's that's just kind of my coachable moment for you, is just kind of just kind of think through those things. Other than that, I know the reality of the situation is, you want to be able to stay, but money is tight, right? So what is So the first month we've had, everybody isn't like this, but we have had people who've gotten clients and generated revenue in the first month. Usually what I've noticed with the folks who make money within their first few weeks of joining the program are the folks who are usually the most they're the most active, meaning like those are the folks who, like, I'm getting a map done within the first few weeks. I'm getting okay, I built my program, I'm getting help, they're reaching out. Like, those are usually the folks that are the most active in the program. Especially if like you're brand new, that's especially when you need to be the most active. Like, I got a coach right now, and I probably speak to him once every 1 to 2 months. I speak to him, one of my coaches. I'm paying him every month, but I'm only speaking to him maybe once every 1 to 2 months. Why? Because I don't need to talk to him as often, because now I know what I'm doing, and I'm a lot more confident in me building this business and making my impact in the world. Right? I might need him for insight in certain areas, but I don't need him for everything. Now, when I first started, I was going to try to be on every call that I can be on. I was borderline annoying with I would text like, yo, hey, I'm trying to figure out this. I don't understand this. What could I do for this? Can you show me where to go to this? Can I access this? I was annoying, to be real, right? But in a good way. I was annoying in a good way, because it's like, okay, I see Terrell really wants to learn this and figure this out. Right? Most people are afraid to be annoying, but you're paying people, right? If you're paying me, like, just get what you pay for. You know what I mean? So that's the type of time that I was on, and what that allowed me to do is that allowed me to learn at a faster rate than most people. Like, and I'm cracking the code for you. Like, this is the secret. It's like the secret sauce right here. That allowed me to learn at a faster rate, which means that I got confident faster. I knew what I was doing. Like, I spent less time being confused, right? Because now I'm like, well, if I don't know my next step, I'm not gonna wait 2, 3, 4 weeks. I'm okay. I got this in my schedule. I'm working on it. I run into a roadblock. Let me send a text, right? Like, let me post it in a group. Let me research it.